Most people don't realize how much information is exchanged in the first few seconds of meeting someone. Before a single word is spoken, the brain is already forming impressions, scanning for signals, and deciding how it feels. That quick glance you sometimes notice is not accidental. It is a rapid, subconscious evaluation that happens faster than logic can catch up. By the end of this talk, you'll understand what men tend to notice first, why these details stand out from a psychological and biological perspective, and how these signals show up in everyday social situations. This is not about changing who you are. It's about understanding how perception works, so you can see yourself more clearly through another person's eyes. When two people lock eyes for the first time, the brain switches into assessment mode. Evolution wired humans to quickly decide whether someone feels safe, interesting, or worth approaching. This process happens automatically, guided by instinct rather than intention. Men, like everyone else, rely on visual and auditory cues that signal health, openness, and emotional availability. One of the first things that often draws attention is hair. Not because it needs to be long or styled in a particular way, but because hair is a visible marker of health and care. Shiny, well-kept hair signals vitality at a glance. The brain interprets this as a sign that someone takes care of themselves, which is subconsciously associated with stability and well-being. This is why even simple, natural hair can stand out more than something overly styled. Think about moments when you've noticed someone without fully knowing why. Often, it's not a specific feature, but an overall sense of freshness or ease. Hair frames the face and moves naturally, catching light and attention. That movement alone can draw the eye before anything else registers. It's not about perfection, but about authenticity and comfort in one's appearance. Have you ever noticed how people seem more attractive when they appear relaxed? That leads to the next powerful signal, a genuine smile. The human brain is remarkably good at detecting emotional truth. A genuine smile engages the muscles around the eyes, not just the mouth. When someone smiles genuinely, it signals safety, warmth, and emotional openness. From a psychological standpoint, a genuine smile lowers social barriers. It tells the observer that interaction is welcome and that the person is emotionally present. Men often notice this immediately, even if they can't explain why. A forced or polite smile feels different, and the brain picks up on that mismatch almost instantly. Consider how you feel when someone smiles at you in a crowded room. It creates a brief sense of connection, even between strangers. That same mechanism works here. A genuine smile suggests enjoyment of the moment, which makes others feel more at ease imagining a conversation or connection. Another subtle but influential factor is the pitch of your voice. Long before words are processed for meaning, the sound of a voice carries emotional information. Research in psychology and biology suggests that men tend to respond to slightly higher-pitched voices because they are often associated with youthfulness and positive emotional states. This is not something most people consciously notice, but it influences attraction on a subconscious level. The voice conveys mood, confidence, and emotional energy. A calm, warm tone can feel inviting, while tension or strain can signal stress. In everyday life, this shows up in small interactions. A simple greeting can feel pleasant or forgettable, depending on how it sounds, not just what is said. Have you ever felt drawn to someone's voice even before fully noticing their appearance? That's because sound reaches the brain quickly and directly, bypassing rational analysis. The voice becomes part of the emotional memory associated with a person. Visual cues related to body proportions also play a role, particularly the relationship between the waist and hips. This is not about specific sizes or ideals promoted by media. From an evolutionary perspective, certain proportions have been associated with health and fertility, and the brain is wired to recognize these patterns instinctively. This does not mean someone is consciously measuring or judging. It happens automatically, in the same way we notice balance or symmetry in art. The brain registers these cues as part of an overall impression, not as isolated data points. It's one of many signals that contribute to attraction, not a defining factor on its own. What's important to understand is that these instincts are ancient, while modern preferences are diverse. Attraction is never based on a single feature. It's a combination of signals that together create a feeling of interest or curiosity. Among all these cues, the eyes often hold the strongest pull. Humans are naturally drawn to eyes because they convey emotion, intention, and attention. Eye contact activates areas of the brain involved in social bonding and trust. When someone meets your gaze, it creates a moment of mutual awareness that feels meaningful, even if it lasts for a second. Eyes reflect emotional states in subtle ways. Dilated pupils, softness in the gaze, or focused attention can all signal interest and presence. Men, like anyone else, tend to notice eyes because they offer the clearest window into how someone is feeling in that moment. Have you ever felt that someone truly saw you, even without speaking? That feeling often comes from eye contact that feels intentional rather than accidental. It creates a sense of being noticed, which is deeply human and deeply powerful. At this point, it's worth pausing to reflect. How often do you think about these signals in yourself? Not to judge or change them, but to understand how naturally they emerge when you feel comfortable and confident. Attraction often increases when you are not trying to impress, but simply present. A surprising insight here is that these cues work best when they align with your internal state. When you feel relaxed, your smile becomes genuine. Your voice softens naturally. Your posture changes without effort. The brain of the person observing you picks up on this coherence, even if they can't articulate it. In real life, this shows up in everyday settings. At work, someone who feels at ease often seems more approachable. In social gatherings, people gravitate toward those who appear comfortable in their own skin. On dates, moments of shared laughter or quiet eye contact often matter more than scripted conversation. Psychology teaches us that first impressions are not about perfection. They are about consistency between what is felt and what is expressed. When internal emotions and external signals match, the brain reads that as authenticity. It's also important to remember that attraction is highly individual. While these tendencies are common, they are not rules. Personal experiences, cultural background, and individual preferences shape what each person notices most. Understanding these patterns is meant to inform, not limit. As you move through the world, notice how your own attention works. What draws your eye first when you meet someone new? Is it their expression, their energy, their presence? This reflection can help you understand that attraction is a two-way process, shaped by shared human instincts. In the end, what men often notice first are not isolated traits, but signals of life, warmth, and emotional availability. Hair that moves naturally, a smile that reaches the eyes, a voice that feels calm, proportions that signal health, and eyes that connect. Together, these create a first impression that feels human and real. The deeper truth is that these signals become strongest when you feel comfortable being yourself. Confidence does not come from trying to match an ideal, but from understanding how naturally you already communicate who you are. Take a moment to reflect on which of these signals feels most natural to you. Awareness alone can shift how you carry yourself, not by force, but by understanding. If this insight helped you see attraction from a new perspective, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. You can also support the channel by liking and subscribing if you enjoy thoughtful explorations of human behavior. Most importantly, carry this awareness with you and notice how small moments of connection shape the way we see one another.